So this video is just going to be your first general walkthrough of the system just to quickly get acclimated with the different features. And so I've just created a brand new account here, so if you're new to Sherpa, this is probably what you'll see or something similar. If you are established in just making sure that all of your settings are set up correctly and all of that, this is a good refresher video just to make sure that you haven't missed anything. So first things first, we should pop down to this account settings tab here. You can see here your business name, your email address. You can set your business hours. This is important if you don't work full hour days. You'd want to adjust this so that some of your stats later on, like average response time and things like that, are accurate actually to the hours that you work in a day. So adjust this to what your normal business hours are that you're working in Sherpa, and make sure that your time zone is accurate. You need to make sure that this is set up properly so that the times reflected in all of your stats and dashboards and things like that are local to your actual time zone. There's also some items in regard to TCPA law that are regulated by specific hours of the day, and so again, that's another reason you want to make sure your time zone is accurate, because you can't be sending messages before 8:30 a.m. and after 8:30 p.m. I believe local time, so make sure that that's accurate for yourself. Next here on the page are your markets. If you're just in one market, which to begin with you probably are, you can also add additional markets for $100 per month here. That will add 30 local phone numbers to use in that market. But just to get started, you probably just have the one. You can adjust your call forwarding number here. So this is if you are sending out text messages, somebody replies to one of the phone numbers that you sent a text message from and calls you back, that's where this will go to. We have ours personally going to a voicemail, and it's what we recommend so that we're not wasting a lot of time on phone calls of people just asking, you know, where you got their information or just not serious leads. So we have ours going to a voicemail, but you can have it forwarding to wherever you'd like. Here you can also change your password. Let's just pop right down to billing information. So this is all of your current billing amount, your upload limit, everything you need to know in regard to that is here. The next billing date, it's going to bill on the same day of each month. So in this case, our 10,000 uploads are going to expire end of day on the 24th, and then on the 25th, everything will refresh and be charged again. So make sure you're aware of the end of your billing cycle, which will be the day before the billing date, because that's the point that you have to upload all of your prospects by. Your billing history will show here. This is a brand new account, like I said, so all we're seeing here is my subscription amount, but as you're doing new purchases, skip traces, everything will show up here. Next, down to the users, so you can add as many users as you'd like. No extra cost for additional users. The other important items that are under here, and we suggest anyone using the system should have their own login. There's no reason why they wouldn't have it. And then make sure that the mobile number here is accurate, because this is the number that's going to be used for call and SMS relay, for prospect relay. So in order to get conversations relayed to your personal cell phone, this is the number that's going to be used. You can set different roles for each user here. Master admin, typically the company owner. Admin really has full access of the system as well. Staff is a little bit restricted then, so staff cannot create new campaigns. They can't export any data. They're only going to have access to the campaigns that you give them access to in the campaign settings page. So if you need them to have restricted access but still sending text messages, then you want to have them as a staff level. Junior staff is view only. Active or inactive, so we're not deleting any users. If somebody leaves the company or something happens, you just set them to inactive. They'll never be able to access ever again. And then each user can also have their own times. So again, so that the average response time for them is accurate in your dashboard, because maybe some people work in the morning, others could be working in the afternoon, and so you can set the time that they work specifically. You can invite new users here. So here under company, campaign settings, auto dead, this is a system-wide setting. So you either have it on or off. So that's whether or not you want your negative replies to be filtered out. So if somebody says not interested, sold, wrong number, those items will be filtered out to the auto dead. You'll still have access to those messages, but they won't come into your normal unread inbox. So it kind of cleans things up for you. So you can either have this turned on or off. It's up to you. Default alternate message. This is the message that is used in the case that your prospect upload is missing data that you have in a merge tag. So we'll look at templates a little bit, or in a little bit, but you can have hi, first name, I'm interested in property, street address. And so if there's a prospect that's missing their first name or their street address, then this generic message will send instead. It's not used very often, just in those cases that the prospect is missing that data. So we can create a generic one here that just says, hello, my name is Alex, I'm a local investor, and I'm looking to buy in the area. Are you interested in selling? You can make it whatever you want, make it unique to your account. We need all text messages to always be unique to your account, but just have that generic with no merge tags being used. Next item in account settings, carrier approved templates. So these are used for the carriers, which at this time is AT&T. It could eventually be other carriers as well, but they're becoming more and more strict with the messages that go through to their users. So we have carrier approved templates. We've put them together for you guys, but you can make them a little bit customized to yourself by putting a company name and a first name here. And so at this time, we are sending carrier approved templates to AT&T. All the other carriers are still getting your normal generic or your normal custom templates that you're creating. So at this time, it's just AT&T that we need to send these to. If you have this turned off and not set up, your messages to AT&T prospects will be skipped. Once you have this turned on, these carrier approved templates will be used. So let's create one real quick here. So let's do fair offer Denver. Do not use your actual company name here. We never want to use your actual company information on your first initial message that's going out, just in case there's some hostile people out there and post a review about you online or something like that. So we always put a generic company name in our initial templates, and we don't give actual company information until you know that they are a qualified lead. So here, Alex, I don't know, Jesse, Jackie. You can put as many company names or as many outgoing first names as you want. They'll be used in rotation. So we can toggle that on now and hit save. So it says setting updated. So we now know that we can be sending to AT&T now that we have this turned on. This is where we'll set up our Zap. I'm not going to do that in this video. Again, this is a general walkthrough video, but there is another video for setting up your Zapier webhook. Really straightforward and easy. Just check our knowledge base, type in Zapier or our YouTube channel, type in Zapier, and you'll be able to find that video. If you need any help, just send an email to support@leadsherpa.com and we'll be happy to help you kind of set that up. Prospect relay settings. So this is for prospect relay. So again, to relay conversations to your personal device. Because this is a brand new account, I don't have anything set up at all. But if we did have some set up here, we'd be able to click through and see that prospect conversation. So now that we have our account settings all set up, let's go over to our template manager. So you can pop this out here just to see what's going on in case you're not aware of the icons and what they mean, but you can pop it back over. So this is our template manager. We need to create at least 10 to 15 different initial templates before really sending out a ton of volume messaging. If you're just testing, create a couple, but once you're really sending even 100 or a few hundred a day, you need to have 10 to 15 different templates so that you're not sending the same template back to back. When you're sending the same templates back to back, it looks like spam. You're going to kill your phone numbers. You're going to kill the template itself. So it's really important to have that variation. So here we can click new template, first template, So hi, and you just click on the merge tag here and that will merge in their prospect information. So we've already set up this alternate message and it will be the default, but in case you're targeting a specific list and you wanted to have a different alternate message, you can always change it there template by template as well, but it will default to the one that you set up in your account settings page. So let's finish this out. I'm interested in street address. I'm actually not going to finish this here because I don't want you guys all using the same templates. You need to have, like I said, unique templates to your account. If all of our users are using the same templates, you're again going to get marked as spam. It's going to kill all of your phone numbers. It's going to be really bad for delivery rates. So come up with your own templates here, but you see how to create it and how to use it. You can see here, I'm going to show you our established account. And I'll come to the template manager. So you see we have lots of templates here, and we should actually really be updating them because they were created a long time ago. Updating them every now and then helps keep them fresh, helps delivery rates. You can archive templates as well. So these are all of our archived templates. So active and archived. Quick replies here. You can add new quick replies. The two buttons are just up here. You can edit them here. And you can also move them around to reorder them so that when you're actually using them, you can have your most used ones toward the top. So now that we have our templates, we have our quick replies, let's go over and look at starting a new campaign. So because I'm back now in my brand new account, you see there's no campaigns here at all. You're going to click this new campaign button. So we're going to name the campaign. So I'll say Allison Test Campaign. We have to choose the market. If you have more than one, there will be more than one option here, but for now, we just have the one. You can set up your either email to app function to push prospects to your Podio, or we suggest Zapier over the email to app function. It just tends to work better, and you can actually push more information. So we do suggest doing that over the push email address option. So it's either one or the other. You don't have to do both. We suggest doing Zapier. Call forwarding number. So if we don't put anything here, it's going to default to the master one that we set up in our account settings page. But if you want to have different call forwarding numbers for each campaign, maybe you have different people working different campaigns and so you want those callbacks to go to different places, you can specify that here as well. Campaign owner, so I only have one user set up in this account, but if there was more than one, all of my users would show up here. And then you can see back here on the campaigns list, there's this owned by me tab. And that way, if you're assigning different people different campaigns, they can click on that and see all of the campaigns that they own there. Access, if we leave this blank, all of the users will have access. If they are a staff level user, then you do need to specify their access here. And that is all of our initial campaign settings. So we can just click Create Campaign. You can just create it with these two items set up. Those are the two minimum ones that you need to have. Everything else is optional. So now we come into the campaign, and so we can either directly add prospects. So if you already have a list skip traced, then you click this Add Prospects in the top right corner here. If you haven't skip traced a list just yet, you will need to do that, and so that is this tab here, Skip Trace. And so you can do a batch skip trace or a single skip trace, but you probably have a list of items that you want to skip trace, so you'll choose the batch skip trace. So let's actually just go ahead and do that. Again, if you already have a skip trace list, then you can just upload it right into the campaign. So when we click batch skip trace, it should open this flat file. It's called pop out here. So let's upload some data. Let's see, skip test. So the uploader, when you're uploading direct to campaign, is going to look the same as this. If this is your first time doing this, it's not going to have the confirmed mapping. This is recognizing that I've done this before, so it already recognizes the columns. But yours will actually look like this. So let's pop all of these out so that we see what you'll be seeing on your first time around. And so here you have to match up your column names to the category. So first name. If it's not the first name column, then we would change it to whatever it is. However, it's recognizing it correctly, so we're going to leave it and hit confirm mapping. Last name, confirm mapping. Mail address, mail city, mail state, mail zip. Property address, again, if it was wrong, maybe this is actually the mailing city, or maybe this is a custom column, and so we can change that. But we need to make sure it's really accurate to have a good result from our skip trace. So property address, property city, property state, property zip. If you're not sure if you did it correctly, if it is not correct, if it's mapped incorrectly, you're going to get a low hit rate. So you can go back and check all of those things again before mapping. But you can also, or before confirming your mapping, but also the next tab says review. And so we can see here, these are all of our first names. These are our last names, mail address, city, state, zip, property address, city, state, zip. So all looks good to us. We can hit continue. Yes. So this is going to tell us exactly how much it could cost. So this is the maximum amount it could cost. There's a bit of a variation because we only pay for data that's returned. However, it won't be more than $9, and it's going to authorize our card for that amount. We can keep suppress against database on. Right now, you probably don't have any data in your database yet, but as you're doing more and more skip traces and uploading to campaign, this is going to actually compare your skip trace to your database. So if that property already has data appended to it, already has phone numbers, even if it was skip traced through somebody else, it's going to recognize that and recognize it as a duplicate so that you don't pay to skip trace that information again. So we want to keep that on. The only time we're going to turn that off is if we're looking for updated data. Maybe we uploaded data that wasn't good, and so now we're trying to skip trace it again through Lead Sherpa. And so we can turn that off so that it doesn't recognize any duplicates, because if we have that on, they'll all be recognized as duplicates if we're re-skipping data that's already been uploaded. So if you need new updated data, turn that off. In all other cases, you probably want to keep this on because it's actually going to save you quite a bit of money. So we can hit start skip trace here. It should finish very quickly. It takes about 10 minutes to run 1,000 records. So as it's processing, we can see how many hits there were, the hit rate, the cost so far, the amount that we've saved. So it's 15 cents per hit, and because we have one duplicate in there, it's saved us 15 cents so far. So that will just take a second to upload. Again, I'll move us over quickly to this established account so you can see what it looks like when you have all your past skip traces, and these have all been pushed to campaign. So as soon as that data is done processing, it's going to finish, and we see that here. And so if you want to download your skip trace, you just hit export here. It will open in just a second because it's a small-ish file. Let me see. There it is. Okay, so this, we have another video that really walks you through each of these items, but you can see here lots of phone numbers have been returned, other data, relatives data, and all of that good stuff that skip trace gives us. So now you can download that, use it however you want, but if we want to use it in a texting campaign, we hit these three dots again and click push to campaign. So I'm going to push it to my campaign that I created. Import type, either include all prospects or only new prospects. So right now, all of my prospects, because it's a brand new account, are new. So it doesn't really make a difference. However, if we had lots of past skip traces, there was lots of duplicates in there from old data, then we have the option, do we want only the new data, or do we also want to include those prospects to try to hit them again? The system does have some restrictions where if somebody replied before, you're not going to text them again, or if you've messaged them in the last 5 days, you won't text them again. So we always include all because it's just giving us that opportunity to reach these people again who we know haven't replied before. But that's up to you. So we'll push to campaign, and then we can see here as it's loading. And as soon as it's done, we'll be able to click where it says 100% and it will take us right over to the campaign. Or we can already pop over there from here, and you can see under the metrics tab all of your import stats. So far, even though it's still running, we have 116 phone numbers, 44 of those are mobiles, 66 are landlines, 6 other. And so remember that each prospect can have up to 3 phone numbers. All 3 phone numbers count as one prospect upload. All of the mobiles are going to be queued up for texting, landlines are pulled out and not texted. So this is a fairly good ratio so far. Now that that is running, we should now also be able to come to our Send tab, and we'll be able to select one of the templates you've created. So because I didn't actually create one, I'm going to jump back over to our established account so you can see exactly what all of that looks like when we have all of our settings set up. So let's go into this campaign here, our Send tab, and so we have all of our different templates here. It should take a second to load, and then it will pull in all of the information. So hi David, so that's the first name. Merge tag, this is Jenny at Fair Offer Denver inquiring about, so this is actually one of those AT&T pre-approved templates. So that's why we're able to send to AT&T, but it does have a little bit of opt-out at the end of the template. But all other prospects will get your normal templates that do not have that opt-out option. You can see here as you're sending how many have been sent in the current batch that you're on. So we're on batch 28. Our delivery rate so far for this batch, and if there were any skipped, which we don't have any skipped because we have those carrier approved templates on. Then we can come over to metrics. You can see your delivery rate, your response rate, the batch that you're on, and your skipped data. So each batch will have 100 attempts. The system automatically separates them out by that so that you can see, okay, on this batch, things are still going good, and you'll be able to identify if the delivery rate's starting to drop, maybe you need to make a change. So, like I said, each batch has 100 attempts. This is our response rate, which this is a follow-up campaign, so it's a little bit lower. If this was a brand new campaign, you're gonna have like a 30% response rate. On a follow-up campaign, that drops to even around this amount. A follow-up campaign is actually typically in the single digits, as you'll see some of them are here, because we're getting the most responsive people on the first time around. And then because when we create a follow-up campaign, we're only contacting the people who didn't reply before, that's why it drops every time you do one. Our delivery rate, we always want to see above 85%. So these are very, very ideal. 99%, 98% is awesome. Anything over 85% is good. As soon as you notice your batch stats are dropping below 85%, that should put up a red flag. Maybe you've been using the same template too much, too frequent, and maybe it just needs a change, or maybe something's happened that has caused your phone numbers to be flagged. But as long as you're getting over 85%, then you should be good. We have some skip reasons here, so if you click on the magnifying glass, you can see why things were skipped. So if we had somebody on our DNC list, this is our internal DNC list that we've built out. We do not scrub out the national DNC registry because we're not using the system to sell anything. We also skip, as I was mentioning before, prospects who were messaged in the last 5 days. So we're not over contacting people. There's some other good stats here, but again, just trying to quickly get through everything. As soon as people start replying, you'll see this red dot here. There's 2 places where you can see. So this is at the campaign level. So we know these prospects have responded within this campaign. You'll see unread / is priority. So these are our new messages. But if you come over to this tab here where there's a 2, this is going to show us all of our unread messages across every single campaign, active or archived. So they're all going to come here in this one place. But if you do want to check at the campaign level, then just go back into that campaign and click on prospects and messages here. So when we have a preview of each message here, they are in chronological order, but the unread message is here. This is obviously a little bit spammy. And so we probably just want to DNC. So we can DNC people, we can mark them as priority. It will always keep them in this default view on top. But we can also change lead stages to other items here. And you can select the lead stage from this drop down here to reference conversations that belong to that lead stage. The main item that I need you guys to be doing is hitting verify owner. So of course you can hit DNC, you can hit priority, you can hit qualified lead. Those are all up to you. Verified owner, you need to be doing as soon as you know that you've reached the right person. Because, like I said before, each prospect can have up to 3 phone numbers. All 3 phone numbers, if they're all mobiles, are queued up. So when you hit the right person, then you hit verified owner and it will deactivate the other numbers that are in queue so you don't end up messaging more wrong numbers than you need to be. So hit that verified owner button once you know that they are a verified owner. You can also use the buttons here. It's a quick shortcut to check out the status for the prospect, especially if it's dead or something that you don't really need to get into. You can just really quickly hit that there. If you pop out this item here, gives you some more information about the prospect. You can add notes, you can see activity for the prospect, and you can also, this is where you'll set up that prospect relay. So if it's qualified lead, we want to get this conversation to our phone all the time and stay on top of that conversation. We just select our mobile here and we will get everything relayed to our phone. We'll be able to respond via text and call the prospect from our phone as well, using the same Sherpa phone number. So in this case, the phone number that we're sending messages from here, that is where, or that is the phone number that will be shown when they receive that text or that call from you. So there's quite a bit of information here. If you have any questions, just email support@leadsherpa.com. Just keep an eye on your metrics, as I had mentioned. But I think that is everything that I wanted to go through in this video. Last few little things, you can export all of your data here. So you can export your mobiles, your landlines, gives you some extra information, like last message sent, last message received for each prospect, when they were imported and all of that. You can export there. You can also export from the prospect search tab if you're looking for somebody specific, or if you just want to filter based on lead stage, you can do that as well and export that data. And finally, last item is your dashboard. So there's quite a bit of information here. We have highest performing, lowest performing campaigns. It takes a second to load this data because we have such a large account that it takes time to load. And then the leaderboard. So if we scroll down here, we can see all of our different users and their stats from each day. And so you can filter by the date here to get the message attempts. So how many attempts were done that day, how many messages were sent, how many actually were delivered out of those, how many leads were created that day from this user, and the percentage based on the messages sent and how many leads were created. And then average response time. You want your average response time to always be under 10 minutes. And so that's why it's really, really important to set the office hours and the user work hours so that this average response time can be accurate, because everybody should not be leaving responses for too long. So that's a really sort of quick walkthrough of everything, even though it's a longer video than we normally post, but that's really encompassing everything you need to know. If you do have any questions, do just email us again at support@leadsherpa.com. You can find it here on your support tab, and we will get right back to you. We're very happy to help. We hope that you enjoy this system. Let us know if you have any questions or concerns. We're here to help. Thanks.